You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of Noise Media Network, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County, Monday through Wednesday at 10 a.m. and Thursday at 11 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land and all of you around the world listening to the sound of my voice. It is a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. It's 81 degrees. It's going to be hot, though. It's going up to 86, so I'm excited about that because I'm out. After the day, I'm gone, y'all. It's my anniversary, so I'll be out of town for the rest of the week. I'm excited about that. I've been working so hard over the last 3 days to make sure everything is in place so I can really go and have a real vacation, like where I don't have to do work, like real. Like, you know, anybody know what a real vacation is? That's what I'm hoping for. 4 days of just real, just chilling. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Got a great guest today, y'all. If you ever thought about going into the food industry, this is the one you want to hear. Do you hear me? You thinking about a food truck, a restaurant, a hot dog cart, a pie cart, whatever it is, you want to make sure you listen to this interview because it's going to be a good one. But before I do that, today is National Cheese Day. It's kind of good, right? Because now I got a chef on the phone that's going to do our interview, and today is National Cheese Day. Maybe he can give me some secrets on how to eat cheese. Here's the thing, I eat cheese on everything. It's just sad. He don't even got to give me a recipe because everybody know me. I pretty much eat cheese on everything, and that's my weakness. Cigarettes is some people's weakness. Alcohol is others. Cheese and crabs is mine. So that's my weakness. Now you know my secret. There it is. All right, we're going to go ahead and get on to the Harvest Goes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Michael Thousand for today, Thursday, June the 6th. We're going to kick it off like we always do, and that is with Aries. Financial limitations are likely if you take risks. Dig deep to find out how costly a new venture will be before you sign on the dotted line. Don't let friends convince you that they should contribute to something you don't believe in. Listen here. Don't contribute. If you don't believe in it, Aries, don't sign your name on it. Okay, so sometimes you feel a little guilty because you want to support. If it's something that you're not passionate about and your gut is saying, listen, we talked about this yesterday, your head say one thing, your heart say another thing, follow the gut because the gut pretty much always knows best. So don't do it. And don't sign anything on the dotted line, especially if you don't know what the heck you're signing. I say it all the time. If you don't know what you're signing, if you have it, it's almost like being in trial. If you don't know 100% of what you know, then you need to consult a professional. That's kind of like the jury. If the jury can't say definitely you guilty, you're not guilty. All right, let's go. Taurus, your anger may be impossible to contain if you get into debates with family members. This is not the time to lend or borrow money or possessions. Be careful while in transit or while traveling in foreign countries. Let me tell y'all something. I love to travel sometimes, not all the time. Going to foreign countries right now just ain't it for me. Whatever you do today, Taurus, put the mask on, stay safe because Corona, she's still out there roaming around. So don't get it twisted. Don't think she's gone. And don't fight with your family members because you could still be quarantined in and you got to live with all them folks. So just relax for a second. Fall back, relax. Gemini, you will be upset over trivial matters. You will be able to find the perfect outfit and the greatest new accessory of your house. For your house. Okay, that sounds nice. Don't confront this situation if you don't feel you can keep your cool. If you think you're going to blow it out of proportion today or blow your top, just leave it alone, Gemini. Go to your quiet space and leave it alone. Don't do it. Because you got to live with these people for the rest of the day. Fix your house up. Buy something new. Do some retail therapy. I didn't say go broke now. I said do some retail therapy. Some of us like, that lady said, go do some retail therapy and I spent all my money. That's not what I said. Buy one thing for the house. Let me say that. One small thing. One cheap thing. Like $12. That way you can't blame me if you go broke. Leo, proceed with caution if operating equipment or vehicles. Help elders with concerns. Don't let your partner goad you into wearing your heart on your sleeve. Listen here. Listen, Leo. Sometimes we wear our hearts on the sleeve naturally, but if your partner is trying to make you wear your heart on the sleeve, tell them to fall back. I'm not doing it. Don't do it. Virgo, there's a lot of traveling going on here. Y'all put the mask on if you go traveling. Virgo, travel will be favorable and bring you the greatest rewards. Changes could be overwhelming. Be prepared to meet new lovers through colleagues. Okay. All right, Virgo, you got some love on the horizon, but it's through your colleagues. Now listen. Get a good background check on them. You know, your colleagues, who are they? Do they hang out with unsavory people? I'm just saying. You got to just check them out. All right, listen, I'm going to a song. I'll be right back after this song to give you more of the horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Michael Thiessen. You're listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show. Stay tuned.
Of a live bomb on the bridge with a Tycon flow snap, pivot like the Nikon. Been cold with the vibe warm, keep it locked like the vice arm. They got her twisted like the coat arm, heart something froze like the snowstorm. Her toe bag match her throat charm. She from the land of the sand where they flex so subtle when her drink mint muddle. Left home and her man in the game that he played for the sand and the shade. She parade you to square in the shades. She like why you do that, why you so deceptive. Yeah, I'm pretty restless. Long as the check gets addressed to a residence. She self-heal therapy, she beat pen on clearance when she shopping for clarity. Reap what she sold for the dividend. Know what time is the medicine. Copping the wristwatch, Cartier with the bezel on her credit. The manner has rubbers do. I swear she's so sadistic, defensive, pessimistic, reclusive. She too lit, independent. She too quick to dismiss courtship, concerned with malice. She pile up as the bout ends. She throws a talent. She clutch a hat full chalice. Sip youth from fountains. Check her out. She shit maneuver mountains.
No time to slide, I guess I'm bad with distance. I never text you back, letting my thoughts are drifting around the shots to keep us all from losing who we are. We're products of a generation. We'll be swiping left across the interfaces. Out my mind, I tend to be evasive. Yeah.
Welcome back. So y'all just heard a blooper, right? That was so funny. So Chef Hank is on the phone with me. He said, "Is my volume okay?" And it was so funny because I forgot to mute out the microphone. But it's okay, Chef. It's all right. I was like, it was crazy. Sometimes stuff happens that I just can't control, and it's all right because that this y'all know I keep it real on this show. Like ain't no front with me. It is what it is. So we got a blooper. That wasn't a bad blooper, but y'all heard me go because it was fine. He was like, "Is my mic okay? Is my volume okay?" "Yeah, you fine." And I go shh right into the microphone. I'm like, "Oh crap, that's a blooper," but that's all right. It's cool. I might go back and edit out, maybe not. Anyway, we're going to finish up the horoscope, Chef. We're going to bring you on because I know you got some good stuff to share with the listeners today. So let me kick it off with Libra. Libra, your mate will be pushing you to do things that you really don't want to do. You must watch your tendency to spend whatever you make. Talking to those you trust and respect will help you sort out your problems. Okay, listen, you don't want to spend the money anyway today. That's the problem. Just don't do it. Just don't spend it. Don't do it. Scorpio, your creative ideas will be put to good use if you dig in and do things around the house that will make your family happy. You can get ahead if you're willing to take a partner. Okay. Don't lend money to friends or contribute more than necessary to groups unworthy of your cash. Listen here. Don't lend money to friends or family. Right? I always say this. If you can't afford to lose it, don't lend it. Because you don't know if you're going to get it back, and then you're going to be pissed off when people don't pay you back. So listen, just don't. Michael is saying, your stars is saying, don't lend money today. That's what your stars are saying, so don't do it. Now, you can't, if you lend the money, don't get it back. Don't say you wasn't warned because we warned you. Sagittarius, don't overreact if your partner has a poor attitude. Deception regarding joint finances or investments will cause upsets between family members. You may overspend if you travel today. However, the trip will be one to remember. Sounds like fun. Now, you got to come back home. Are you taking a trip or are you taking a vacation? Because when you take a trip, you got to come back home and hold your head low because you're like you done spent too much money. Are you taking a vacation? You know, think about that for a second. It's going to be one to remember, but you got to come back home. Capricorn, don't let children hold you back from doing things you enjoy. You won't be able to keep a secret. Today will be rather hectic on the domestic scene. Listen, don't tell nobody a secret today, Capricorn. I'm not telling a Capricorn a secret today because Capricorn's not going to hold your secret today. I'm just saying, if you don't want your business out there, don't tell a Capricorn today because they're not holding any secrets. Aquarius, plan your day carefully. Heart-to-heart talks will clear up vague issues. You must take care not to overexert yourself if involved in sports. Okay, take care of yourself. Aquarius, you always have something going on with your health. Take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Have that heart-to-heart talk to. Put it all out on the table. Just lay the cards out there. There's no question because you done laid it on the table. And my fellow fish Pisces, your partner may be erratic today if you haven't paid enough attention to him or her. You will back yourself into a corner if you are baited. And your stubbornness, we are not stubborn. Who said that? Your stubbornness will only make matters worse. Sit tight. Things aren't as bad as they appear. Oh, thank God for that. Anyway, that's all the horoscopes I got for you today. I'll be back on Monday to bring you more of the horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Micah Thyssen. Happy birthday to my Uncle David. I won't be here tomorrow because y'all know I'm off on Fridays. But I want to give a shout out. Happy birthday to my Uncle David. It's his birthday tomorrow. Y'all wish him some love on Facebook. He's always on Facebook. Probably got some big beauty girl on there. So just if you see the old man with the girls on there, that's him. Wish him a happy birthday for me, y'all, tomorrow. Tomorrow's his birthday. I'll be back again Monday to give you more of the horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Micah Thyssen. Let's get on with our show. So today, I have a very special guest with me. I found out about this man from Derek J. Wilson, who is actually running for commissioner for District 3, which is the district in which I live in here in Gwinnett County. And he told me about some of the great work that he was doing. They got together to feed people who were in need during this whole pandemic because, you know, it has been a strain on a lot of people just to eat. You wouldn't think that in a country like the United States of America that there would be a pandemic that will cause people not to have food. With this pandemic right here, and this, I can't even imagine, and I don't want to imagine what it would look like if it was worse. But anyway, my guest today is Chef Hank Reed. He's a renowned chef, y'all. He's a man of experience. He's a man of God. He's a family man. He's all that good stuff. He has a background in culinary arts, architectural engineer, and I want to talk to him and find out how'd you get from there to there. Like now you're architect in the kitchen. You went from architect, so we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna talk about all that on the show. He has had his own restaurant. He's done a lot of things in the community. He even has time. Check this out, y'all. He even has time to do baseball coaching. I looked at the resume. I looked at the profile. I looked at all of them like, when does he have the time? Because just the other day I was trying to figure out how to add in at least another hour into the 24 I had, and I could not figure it out. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Chef Hank. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Audrey. Thanks for having
You're very, very welcome. Man, so I was reading over your bio, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. Like, your experience in this industry is amazing. But before we get into that experience, I want to know, you were in college. Well, first of all, where did your love for food come from? That's one thing, because you went to college to be an architectural engineer, but you got into food. How did that come about?
Well, it's funny because a lot of people ask, well, did your mom teach you how to cook, or did you learn how to cook from your grandmother? I mean, mom cooked, but I was hard-headed. I was a ball player, so I was more interested in eating than I was in how I actually got the meal. So I didn't really get it from there, but I knew it had to come from somewhere. When I left, I graduated high school in Griffin, Georgia, and missed my hometown. A lot of great things coming out of Griffin, and I went to Clark Atlanta University. So some kind of way I thought I was good in math, so I was a math and engineering major. But had a job, but I found fascination in making a little extra money on the weekend by coming home and swiping a couple of steaks out of my dad's freezer and going back to Clark and making steak dinners in my room. So these students, even back then, had enough money to pay for these meals. So the interest, in as far as the business, really started then. But just like anybody else, some of those first jobs were in restaurants and things like that early on.
It's so funny because I too was very good in high school in math, and when I went to college, they told me to be an accountant. Now, I'm a Pisces. Accounting is not good for me because I need to be creative. And so accounting did not allow me to be creative. And I wish I had known that I could be an engineer, because I probably would have been one, because, we like to solve problems. That's what engineers do. They solve problems. So I didn't know that. So we got a lot in common right here. So that whole mathematics and science thing, that was my thing. Like, I hated English. So English was not my thing, but I've written 5 books, and I always look back and say, how did that happen? But it happened.
Well, it can. The funny thing about the engineering, and I hate to date myself, but I was a pretty good artist, and we were drafting. So everything architectural were on drafting board, mechanical pencils and all this stuff. And right around the time, I went out to college, things changed with the inception of computers. So all of a sudden we had to deal with this thing called CAD. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I had to turn around and learn something totally different, and just, it didn't sit well with me. So some of the shift in what I was doing basically started just from having to change. So that was something I definitely, as a young person, had to get used to.
So now you had this dorm room startup where you cooking. So these kids were eating good, because I was in college. I wasn't eating no steak. I remember eating Scrapple. You ever heard of Scrapple? Right. We weren't eating steak. Right. It was oodles and noodles and Scrapple.
Whatever they got came back with on the weekend, they had to choose between eating that steak dinner and going out to the clubs of downtown Atlanta. So I get a fair portion of that money serving them meals.
So when you were running the business out of your dorm room, did your regular class suffer any at all while you were doing this?
Well, if it suffered, it wasn't because of that. But Clark Atlanta University and being around Spelman and Morehouse, there were enough distractions. So you definitely had to have your mindset right. Back during those times when you were going to college, you had to know why you were there, and you had to focus on your lessons. So it wasn't easy, but there were the challenges that were involved. But I don't think anything having to do with making them few meals on the weekends had to do anything with any kind of struggles or challenges. It's trying to stay focused with the ratio of 8 or 10 women to 1 man at the time was challenging enough.
Wow. My niece actually goes to Clark right now in the grad program. She's working on a master's there. And I was saying to her, I said, listen, I heard Clark was a party school, but just so happened this was her first year. So she only went for 2 months before Corona shut everything down. So she didn't get a chance to party. So she said to me, man, I'm halfway through my program and I haven't even been to school for 2 months. I was like, that's probably a good thing in disguise right there. So now you started this dorm room business. You were in school to be an architectural engineer, and you decided, you know what, I want to do this full time, because a lot of people are afraid to make that leap. But you knew early on that this was truly a passion for you, and why waste time? Because I still find to this very day, with all of the information that's out there, and I constantly ask my daughter, my niece, my nephews, Do you really like what you're doing? Because you're still young. So if you don't like it, now's the time to say, you know what, I don't want to do this. Let's do something different. Instead of kind of being hooked into, this is what my parents want, this is what society is looking at, this is what's going to make me look good. You knew early on, before you even went too far, that, you know what, I'm gonna stop this right here, and I'm going to go over here and do this. How did you make that leap? And what was that like for you?
Well, the big decision was basically just the example of my upbringing. My mom and dad are I'm blessed to still have them in my life now. They were great parents. And the crazy thing was, I was an athlete with prospects and aspirations in high school, and I gave all that up.
What did you play?
And, I was a linebacker in Griffin. And like I say, the future was ahead of me in regards to that. But I didn't want to do it. It's funny, even to this day, and I don't talk about this a lot, but, I go back and talk to old friends, and they make all these excuses as to why I decided not to play football, but honestly, it just wasn't in my heart. Mm-hmm. So, going to school, my decision-making, even coming from that engineering background, I stuck with it for a little while. I went up to Marietta to Southern Polytech, which is a part of the Kennesaw State University campus now, and I studied architecture for a few semesters up there. But I just started to think that I wanted to be a family man, and I knew I wanted to have a family. And the things that I basically decided was, well, I don't want to waste time doing things that I don't want to do. I want to do something I like. And my two choices were culinary arts or cosmetology, because I knew people were always going to have to eat, or they were always going to want to look good. Mm-hmm. So I think I made the right choice in food, because, even with things going on with COVID now, all the hair salons and barbershops shut down, so I'd have had a problem right about now. Mm-hmm. But the food thing was the choice, because people were always going to have to eat. So, from that point on, I basically positioned myself in restaurants throughout Atlanta and Buckhead. And my goal, honestly, was to learn as much as I could. I knew I was going to apply myself in any restaurant concept or any situation. And honestly, I set a time limit of 2 years. Either you're going to give me everything you can give me in 2 years, or I'm going to give you everything I can give you. And then, where we're going to be, where's your ceiling then? So I did move around a lot, but I moved around with the intent that, if I stayed, say I started a Houston restaurant in Buckhead, once I got to a certain point and I couldn't advance anymore, then it was time for me to go. Mm-hmm. Why be loyal as a prep cook because I can't get on the line for 10 years when I'm trying to learn? I'm not there to make a career out of Houston's restaurant or OK Cafe or any of these places. I'm there to learn as much as I can, because it was always about more than just being the chef or being the good cook or the general manager. It was about all the other intangibles like, servant leadership and relationships with people in those environments, and cookbooks and cooking shows and all these different things I knew that could come from the food and beverage industry. So I just didn't lock myself into one place, but just to get transitioned into that, I knew how I wanted to pour myself into it, because, things get stale if you just focus on one thing. So I've been able to do many things, and just fortunate to have made that decision a long time ago.
That's such a wow. That's such an advanced thought process, because when I think about when I think about any entrepreneur, they tell you, do just focus on one thing, and it does get stale. It gets really stale, especially if you're a creative person where you want to constantly create. Just to be focused on one thing, because we are multifaceted as a people anyway, and so just to try to focus on one. I have had problems with that my entire life. Like, man, I like the podcast. I write a book every now and then. I even try to make jewelry. I suck at that, but I still try. Just because I just have to have that creative outlet to give me something extra to do. Otherwise, I'll lose my mind trying to just focus on one thing. And I had to make peace with that within myself, because I had heard so many gurus saying, pick one thing, focus on one thing. And I'm like, okay, let me do that. But I find myself putting myself in this box and just losing it. Like, okay, I'm about to go stir crazy in this box with this one thing.
Yeah. And how much time did you waste going down this path, and then you got to start another path when you can just keep your mind open to so many different, aspects. Still in the same area, but what's wrong with dipping your finger in a few
Right, exactly. And when I look at, I'm going to say empires like Martha Stewart, because that's the first person that comes to my mind, and Rachel Ray, they started out with that one thing, but they didn't stay there very long. Like, they started out with the cooking show, then became the cookbook, then became the TV show, and then the pots and the pans, and it didn't stay there very long. And I think that's what people, like, you can stay in your industry, but there's so many different branches to your industry. Like, mine is media, and that's why when I told you earlier, I have a TV network because my company is media, so I can branch off into all those different platforms, magazines, TV, radio, all this stuff, and it makes me happy because I feel like I'm living my dream. Now, you decided, you worked at a lot of different restaurants, and then you decide to go into your own business. Tell me about that process, because I look at the restaurant business all the time because my husband wants a restaurant, and it kind of freaks me out because there's so many moving parts to a restaurant. And I watch a lot of restaurant shows, but it's so many moving parts. Tell us about the process for you, where you did good, where you failed, and what you know now that you would do differently.
Well, it should freak you out, and that's a good thing. It's like fear can be used constructively because it keeps you aware of your surroundings and what's going on. I went through it like a lot of people do. Being in the industry, I had been in it for years, and I had that chip on my shoulder that said, I made all these people all this money, and now it's time for me to make my own money. So, and I'm thinking I'm going to be careful and make good decisions, but, when you get out there, if you're not careful, you make decisions that seem small, but then they're going to challenge you a bit. I opened my own restaurant over here in the Snellville area, and it was successful, and, I'm in a small town where people, try to support local small businesses, and I got that kind of support. But, yeah, there were some things that I spent on and committed myself to financially that I could have waited for, but I wanted to advance. I wanted to get to that point to where I felt like these were the things that made the people that I worked for successful. And it really wasn't about some of those things. It was about building trust with my clientele, loving on people and getting them to love back on you and taking pride in what you were doing. So, those were some of the things, but I had a restaurant called Trinity Bistro here in the area back in 2006, I believe we opened it up, and then 2008 hit. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I hung around longer than a lot of people during that, that crash in 2008. But, again, it was just as a small businessman, it was tough on me, it was tough on my wife and kids. So, consider it failure, I never did. I considered it a learning experience. I've always had, faith in God that He leads me in the right directions, and I knew it was a reason things were going the way they were going. And, it just kind of leads me to what I'm dealing with today. And, there was a reason. There were relationships built during then that reestablished themselves now in what I'm doing currently. So, getting into the business, I've succeeded enough and I failed enough to know what to do and what not to do. I'm always open to share my experiences because, if people want to get into the industry, they need to hear the truth about some of the things. They need to hear the truth about themselves. I'll have people coming and saying, my grandmother has a great recipe and I'm going to start a restaurant and I want to sell this. Well, you might be selling your grandmother's, recipe, but these people want some French fries. So if you ain't got enough sense to sell some fries so you can make money, and you're trying to push your passion, your idea on somebody else, and they ain't feeling it, and you can't adjust, then you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle financially. You're going to struggle when you go to bed at night because you're thinking, did I make a mistake? No, you didn't make a mistake. You just have to think a little more clearly about your market, and you have to address, your market and where you are. So, that kind of thing there we all deal with when we're getting in business, and hopefully, we can be a little smarter and just not have those mistakes, create a catastrophic set of circumstances that put us out of business. We want to stay in business.
It's so funny you say that. When I first moved to Gwinnett County, next week will be 7 years. It was a restaurant right around the corner from where I live, and it was a beautiful restaurant. It had like had a VIP room in the back. It was beautiful up front. It was a beautiful restaurant. And so my husband and I went there twice, right? it was like the owners came from New York, and I think they brought the New York mentality to Lawrenceville, which I thought was a total disaster, because you cannot charge. And to give my listeners an idea of this, let me tell y'all this real quick. So, and I'm kind of cheap on certain things. Certain things I don't want to spend a lot of money on. So my friends and I go to New York to Puffy's restaurant. Puffy had a restaurant called what was it called? Was it 40 Club, or was that Jay-Z Club? No, we went to Puffy's Club. I forgot what it was called in New York, right? So the first thing happened was I had to pay $50 to park. I wasn't excited, but no, that's not true. We paid $125 to park. I wasn't excited about that. Then we get inside. They gave me 5 shrimps for like $75. I definitely wasn't excited about that. I was pissed. So I shared that story because there was a restaurant that came to Lawrenceville. They came from New York, but they came with the New York mentality. And I'm thinking, so we go there, and they were serving like oxtails, and they were serving calamari. It was like I don't even know how you put oxtail and calamari on the same menu, but I ordered calamari. They were out. Then my husband turned around and ordered oxtails. They were out. That happened twice, right? And the prices was astronomical. I wanted to rent the place out for my daughters. I think she was turning 23, I think at the time, her birthday. They told me something like $200 per tray for food that fed like 12 people. And I was like, are you kidding me? It was crazy. So I knew right then and there, they did not study their market at all. Because had they done that, they would have known that there was no way that they could fit this New York restaurant into Lawrenceville. Even in the location was a good location, had parking, but it was not like Sugarloaf Mall location. You know, it was. I'm like that. The restaurant, you can't charge that for this place. Well, they went out of business to say the least. And so you're right about knowing your market, but a lot of people don't know that. They don't know their market. They feel like I'm just gonna pop up something and it's gonna work because I want it to work. And I'm sure that doesn't happen. I'm sure you've talked about that plenty of times.
Yeah. That the biggest thing. Again, I tell people is that your landlord is your biggest partner. You know, because they want their money, and that's where the biggest chunk of your expense is coming from. That version of overhead. You know, not to mention your utilities and things that come from that. And that was one of the things, again, like, you know, you can find a good deal on stuff. And even looking at what's going on now with COVID, the pandemic, how these restaurants are restricted to, say, 25% capacity, but the landlord wants 100% of his money. So, you know, the government, I guess, is not understanding, and I don't know where the resources and the help for these restaurants are coming from, if it's coming at all. But the consideration has to be made that you got to tell these landlords or give them some provision so that what they require in rent or lease or TAM and all this stuff matches that 25% capacity that they're restricted to now. You know, not to mention the utilities and everything else. Otherwise, these restaurants won't survive. When I look at places like the buffets, you know, I hate to say it, but they may never come back again. I mean, I guess my wife says she's a prophet because she never ate buffets because she didn't know where these people were coming from, or they washed their hands, coming out of the bathroom, nothing. You know, but most people, they didn't care. They piled up in their cars and they went to Golden Corral and they ate. But, you know, we can't eat like that anymore. So those places are going to suffer. But even the regular restaurants now, it's like, you know, 25%. You can't fill all those seats. When you do a business plan for a restaurant, your seating capacity determines your profitability. So if all of a sudden you're required to change that, which is a major part of how you're going to make your money, how many people you can seat in this restaurant, but your overhead doesn't change, how are you going to survive? You know, that's, you know, you're swimming upstream all the time in lava because it just ain't going to work. So, you know, those are just really the kind of things you look at. Understanding your market, you know, what you're focusing on. People don't buy their food. They buy your trust. They come into that place and you know, you'll go to a place one time and yeah, it was good, and you'll go back. You know, but when you get those people to engage with you, you know, I learned a lot from working with Zach, which is one of my more recent, say, corporate type situations, because I wanted to understand what corporations like that were doing. And the biggest thing, and like Chick-fil-A does a fantastic job. They're great at what they do. I didn't work for them. I worked for Zaxby's. But, you know, from the mission statement to to engage with the guests. You know, and it wasn't just about the guests. It was also engaging with your employees. These people that show up to give this service, they come first, because if they don't have their stuff together, then they're not going to take care of the clients. So they're just as important. So, you know, just having the opportunity to learn certain things, to kind of see what's really going on out there, were some things that, you know, if I known some of this stuff before I opened my own restaurant, it would have helped a lot. You know, but like I said, once I kind of got through on the other side, God was just leading me on a different path of take this skill set that I gave you, and I want you to use it to take care of my people. So that's kind of where I am now.
As you were talking about that, I kind of thought about something, because now this may be something that anybody in the retail space who have to lease out a space from a landlord may want to say, you know, listen, I need to have in my lease provision that allowed me to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Because right now you said if a restaurant can only seat up to 25% of their capacity, but the landlord want 100% of their money. Do you think there should be some kind of provision inside the lease that would account for anything that should happen like this in the future? Because we don't know what the future holds at this point. You know, Corona has really changed a lot of things, the way we do a lot of things. I read about, I talked about Blaxican going out of business in their brick and mortar. They just have the truck now. All this kind of stuff that's kind of like, okay, should I prepare for this now? Should I make this a clause in my lease moving forward? Do you think they should do, anybody in the retail space?
I mean, you know, when certain things happen, insurance plays a big role and stuff too. You know, certain parts of the country you got flood insurance, whereas other places you don't have flood insurance. You know, we're dealing with something new now that has to be considered when it comes to that. You know, and there have probably been some policies along the way that cover, you know, natural disasters or something that would happen that would be considered. So that, you know, but that's on the buyer's end. That's on the entrepreneurs or the business person's end. But as far as the landlord is concerned, same kind of situation there, but it's up to them to look after their clients. You know, and a lot of times they don't. If you can pay, I expect you to pay. But when you're going through something like this, what's wrong with hitting the button on, it's all tough, you chill out, I'm going to get this money from my insurance or from the government to help take care of that client. And you just don't have enough of that from the leaseholders for these small businesses to be able to help out. You know, they're kind of like on their own. This is an unprecedented situation we've been in with the coronavirus, because, you know, it affected our businesses, it affected our residences when people are out of work and unemployment is so high. And now how am I supposed to pay rent? Well, landlord still want his money, but if you kick me out, come, because everybody's out of work. So you got to work it out some kind of way. But it ain't just the landlord. The landlord got the property from the bank. So now the bank's on the hook. So what is the bank doing to help the landlord out? So it's a lot of different layers, and that's where we hope our governments get involved to try to assist and help in these situations. But, you know, it doesn't trickle down fast enough. And, you know, I don't know that there's a reason why, because, you know, we're a great country and we have the opportunity to keep people from being homeless and hungry, but people are still homeless and hungry.
Well, yeah, I know. You know, it's so funny you say that. And we're going to talk about that, but I want to ask you about this. We're going to talk about that after we talk about this. So a lot of people who are probably listening to the show right now, they want to start a restaurant. They may be thinking, well, maybe I should not do that because he's saying a lot of great stuff, and maybe I should go the food truck route. Talk a little bit about that, because that may, you know what I'm saying?
You still need a brick and mortar. You know, think about it this way. The health department is like, you know, I learned years ago, like the IRS, they're not our enemy. You call them on the phone, they'll talk to you, tell you everything you need to know to do what you need to do. That's the IRS. The health department is the same way. But what they're trying to do is, from a social standpoint, they're trying to protect society against someone going out there and not doing the right thing with food and potentially making people sick. You know, the funny thing is a lot of us restaurant workers and people in the food and beverage industry, you know, we had more experience with, say, a COVID situation than most other industries, because that's how we have to protect our business and our food from a health department standpoint. You know, we have to wash our hands. We have to sanitize equipment. We have to, you know, just take care of all these things that all of a sudden everybody's aware of. So, you know, culinary. They want to know you have a place that you can safely prepare food. Because you got a food truck. Yeah, I got a refrigerator on here. I got my oven and all this stuff. So when you go home and you park your truck, what you doing with the food that you had on your truck? Mm-hmm. So you want the health department to be okay with you taking this food in the house and putting it in your refrigerator? Is your refrigerator below, 41 degrees? Are you using gloves in the house when you're transporting this food from one place to the other? How much time does it take you to get this food out of your truck to your refrigerator in your house or whatever else? Are you plugging your truck up at home? There are a lot of things that the health department takes out of the equation. You still need basically a kitchen that is certified in order to do some of the things we do if you're going to sell food to the public. They want you to be safe. They want you to have the serve safe training. All these things you can obtain, but the fortunate thing is there are organizations and businesses out here that have shared kitchens that you can rent space from, and sometimes they're not convenient and sometimes they're expensive, but you're going to pay rent in a building, or you pay a commissary to be able to utilize kitchen space and refrigeration space that you have to register your business with the health department. So there are different layers in there. There's some savings in there also, but when you start thinking about it, it's like, okay, well, I live over here, but my commissary is in Decatur, so I got to go over here and leave my truck, then I got to go back home, and a lot of times that starts to wear people out, and they start to take shortcuts, and eventually you compromise, the quality. I'm not about compromising anything in regards to food safety. I know what to do. I have those expectations of a lot of people, and so I see things sometimes, people selling food and it look good on Facebook, but I'm like, you pull back the curtain, you're like, wow, not serving food to people, and then the same token goes, people go into a restaurant and they see a health score and it's 8, and they're flipping out, well, I can't believe they got an 80, but you didn't read the thing and realize that now the health department takes out, you don't have calories on your menu.
Wow.
Or the same things that you do at home, you expect the restaurant, I get it because they serving the public, but you don't even put your chicken on the bottom shelf at home. You sitting at home with fresh chicken over your salad mix, but you go in a restaurant and you want to bang somebody upside the head about a 80 on a health score, and you don't even do this stuff at the house.
Right.
So
right.
That's the food service workers' perspective of what's going on, and that's why my belief is building trust with your clientele so that they understand and know what you're going through. And like I said, just when people are on your side, they feel good about it. I'm always about, hey, go out there and tell everybody what we're doing up here, because that's how you get your business through trust.
Mm-hmm. Now tell us about, because I know you have the Trinity Community Culinary Institute. What is that?
Well, that was, and I tell people all the time, since I've been in the Snellville area over 20 years, I've always worked in my community and tried to do things to help the youth and help families out by, offering constructive recreational things for people to do. The Institute was something I developed a few years back, and again, these things kind of lead me to where I am today, and that was in effort to take what God had blessed me with, the ability to lead, teach, and share in my industry and work with young people and teach them culinary art. I was fortunate enough to have a relationship with Zoe United Methodist Church at the time, which, we reestablished connections, with this current project. But we were just, doing after school teaching culinary classes for anybody that wanted to learn. We had a curriculum, we had all these different things. So these are things that are still in my repertoire. Fortunately now, with my current position here at First Baptist Church, we have an opportunity. Now we, full time have the ability to be able to teach these lessons and do these things. So, all these things were in the works to get going again with all these great partnerships that I've developed in the community over the past few months. So that was just, again, me saying, hey, I can't take this knowledge with me, so I can give it to somebody else. Everybody's not going to be a basketball star or football star. But the way I lead in my environments, you know, a lot of people call me coach. You know, some people call me chef, but a lot of the young people call me coach. And that's because of my experience as a coach, and that's the way I lead in the environment. So now you got a kid that could make the basketball team, but man, he sure can work that saute station. Or he sure can work on that grill. And now he feels like a leader. Now he feels like a star. Now he understands that he's able to do something that somebody else can't do. Can't dunk a basketball, but man, you sure can saute that shrimp. You know, and you can grill that steak. So it offers a sense of pride in people. So the Culinary Institute was, you know, something I put together, and again, it gave me a stockpile of information that I can share and keep with someone else. And now today, anytime somebody wants to learn something, I'm always looking for some culinary classes or teaching young people or senior adults in the community. So we try to keep all that stuff going with us.
Well, I'm excited because I hear TV show all over this thing. I hear TV, I hear cookbooks, I hear everything. I hear a whole lot of stuff as we talk. You know, and it's so funny. When you were talking about that a kid that can't dunk a basketball, but he sure is good on that saute table, I felt the pride coming out of your voice saying that, because a lot of times when you get someone who works in a restaurant, some people tend to look down on, oh, what you do? Oh, you work at a restaurant? And that's all they say, right? I remember working at, I was working at Prudential, and I was working in customer service. It was 300 people. We worked in small business claims, and it was 300 people that worked on my floor. And I hated my job, because I didn't like sitting. Now, it wasn't that the job was bad. It was just I had to sit there still, for hours at a time, which is bad for me. I didn't want to sit still for hours at a time in front of the telephone. But there was a girl who worked with me. I'm never going to forget her. And I just told this story recently. And this was years ago. I'm dating myself. My daughter was probably 2. And to put that in perspective, she'll be 29 in a couple of weeks. So I'm dating myself. But I remember, she was like 5. I remember asking her name was Barbara. She was so cheerful, Chef Hank. I mean, she was just the brightest thing in my area. And I was like, how long you been doing this job? She said 16 years. I'm never going to forget this. She said 16 years. And I said, wow. I said, why? She said, I love my job. And I was like, wow. I've never been to a place where I loved a job. And I had not. And I used to want to be at that place man, I need to find a job that I love, but I never could find one. When I became an entrepreneur, I tell anybody, on my grave, they going to say, here lies Audrey with a big idea. This is what I love. And has it been easy? Absolutely not. But I can't see myself doing anything else. So when you said that, I felt the pride coming out of your mouth. I'm like, yeah, I could see this kid being really good at sauteing them shrimps, and he's just a freaking master at it, and proud of that. But a lot of people won't see it that way. They'll look down because it's a restaurant and he works there. You know what I'm saying? And he feels good about what he does.
But you know what I compared this to when I decided to go to culinary school and really focus on the industry. One thing I looked at was, and at the time, chefs were coming up in the world, and the Emma Lagasse's and the TV shows and all these things going on. They were gaining the notoriety and the respect of doctors and lawyers, and that's the only thing I kept putting in my head. I was like, you know what? I can be somebody doing this because it's hot, and because people are always gonna have to eat, so it's never gonna cool off in my mind. It was never gonna disappear. But it was that level of respect that, doctors and lawyers get this respect. And am I saving lives? No. But am I enriching lives? I sure am. So that's the kind of, when I lead into it and I talk to people about it, I have them walk with that type of pride, in their soul, that you can make a difference in somebody's lives with food and the way you approach it, with what you do, the artistry of it. We talk about artists, and artists doesn't care what somebody thinks about what they're producing. People will look at that artist and see how they feel about what they're doing, and that they're continuing to produce, and that's what makes them an artist. It's not him worrying about what somebody thinks about what they're painting or drawing. Just like in food, it wasn't about. It took me a while to start worrying about what people thought about what I was making. 9 times out of 10, they appreciate appreciate the fact that you're just doing it and they're not doing it, that they're getting it from somewhere else. So I got better as a chef once I stopped worrying about what people thought about what I was doing, because it was my creativity that was, you know, on the table that needed to be produced. But that pride, once again, in that definitely came from just comparing myself. And when I look at it, back at it today, and one thing I did want to say is, you know, the Rachel Rays and the Gordon Ramsays and all these guys, you know, some kind of way they get the opportunity to do this multitude of things. I don't see myself as any different than them. I don't see myself as any different. I've gone through the same things. I've worked through the same experiences, but, you know, sometimes my challenges are a little bit greater than theirs. So my prayer is definitely always that, you know, whether I'm the executive chef at First Baptist Church or running Let 'em Eat or Trinity Community Culinary Institute or whatever I'm doing, is that people don't put me in a box and don't limit me and say, well, if you're doing this, how you going to do that? Well, I can do it the same way Gordon Ramsay is on 13 different TV shows. Mm-hmm. Somebody let it. You know, somebody said, what's the difference? Tell me, why am I different? So it's just up to me in my heart to want to do more, with excellence. But you need help. You need support. You need people. And I've been fortunate to have, you know, in my life, people to support me and support me now and allow me to get into these different endeavors because they're not personal. They're not for me. You know, it's been hard for it to be for me. I've struggled at some of the restaurant concepts that I worked in because of the environment. Because if you don't let me treat people with dignity and respect and love on people as their leader, not their boss, but their leader, that's a problem. You want me to put people down. You want me to invoke fear in people to get them to do their job, this kind of stuff. I can't operate in that environment, and I've had to. But, you know, just, again, that's where the respect comes from. That's why it's hard for me to do that, because I can't build confidence in a young person or a person that is trying to find a good way so they can take care of their family and a husband or a wife that just needs part-time work. I want them to feel comfortable coming to work. I want them to love their jobs so they can do a good job. So the pride just stems from the desire to be a servant leader and to feed into people so they can appreciate what they're doing so they can be the best version of themselves when they're doing that job.
Man, that sounds amazing. Oh, I'm sitting here saying to myself, when's your birthday?
I'm a Pisces.
Are you?
February 28th.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, I gotta go home and act right with my wife.
Yes, you do. That's right. Don't be acting erratic today. Nah, none of that stuff. We can't do nothing. So I'm a Pisces. Yay. All right, cool. Okay, so listen, and we almost out of time. But you know what? We're gonna do some good things together. I mean, here's where I am. You know, like you said, people. This is an art for me. Like doing this show right now is an art for me. It's a community show. You know, if you ask a lot of podcasters, they do a lot of shows, but I do my show 4 days a week, and I talk about pretty much nothing but Gwinnett, outside of some national news. And then on Thursday, I interview people. But in the podcasting world, that's not how everybody does it, you know. And I was like, well, I'm not everybody. I want to do this thing. If I'm going to commit to doing this, it needs to be the way I want to do it. Yes, I want to play the horoscopes. And people, like one lady told me, you know that's not real, right? I was like, I know, but it's entertaining, right? For somebody, it's real. But for most people, it's entertainment. You know, I play music. It's my show. I want to do it the way I want to do it because it makes me happy. That's what makes me get up 4 days a week and do it, because I can get up and do it my way. But I wanted to say this, and we're probably going to talk again, but you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a diehard at heart. When they told me I could be this thing called an entrepreneur, I have not stopped. It's been 23 years, 21 full time. And I am the person who, I'm not really trying to wait for anybody to make it happen for me. I'm going to go find out what I got to do to make it happen. So I have access to these TV networks that I told you about earlier. I have this, and trust me, Chef, I've said this to plenty of people, plenty of times, and they look at me like I'm talking gibberish, right? When I said, listen, you can be on TV. I have access to this type of platform. All I need you to do is come on board and do what you got to do. People don't really, and I've been doing it for 7 years in TV. And I say to them, don't you have a Fire Stick at home? They like, most of them say yes, because Fire Sticks is $30. Well, do you watch stuff on Fire Stick? Yes. Well, that could be you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It may not be NBC or ABC or CBS, but start on Fire Stick. Start on Apple TV. Here's the thing. People don't know. You have a better chance of being discovered on those platforms because it's not as crowded and your stuff is on demand all the time, 24/7. So we're going to talk again off air because I know there's some things that we could talk about doing together because I do have this space available for us to create great things, you know. But also, I want to before we wrap, I want you to talk to people about Let 'Em Eat because that's really how I found out about you through Derek when y'all did the Let 'Em Eat for the week, and I thought, man, that's really cool. And you know, tell us about Let 'Em Eat. And I said earlier, it's so crazy that we're supposed to live in the richest country in the world, and there are people here who don't have food, and so you and a group of volunteers got together to feed people for 5 straight days, or was it 7? I'm not sure. I know it was like a week. And they didn't have to worry about coming out of pocket for that. Talk about Let 'Em Eat and what that was like and why you did that.
Well, again, there was an opportunity to be on staff here at First Baptist Church, and the great thing about it is you get a job, you're gung-ho, all the opportunities, great tool, but God's timing is different. So sometimes, you know, you have to wait on His, and a lot of the ideas it wasn't the time for them, but you know, frustration will set in situations like that. But God said, I didn't bring you here for that. I brought you here so you'd have the time to develop this organization so that you can take care of my people. I started the development of Let 'Em Eat in November of 2019, and with the intent on being able to serve the homeless. I worked in Atlanta. I worked in Athens. I've seen it visibly there, and understanding that the invisible homeless is so prevalent in our communities with the extended stay motel families. That's not home. That's temporary. You know, and it's expensive and it's hard on these families. So, you know, those were my target clients there. So I knew I could travel and do that. And the other component was being able to mobilize during natural disasters. You know, our mission statement is mobile food provisions, prepared with care and served with compassion to those in need. So, you know, it's about being able to take these meals and being able to feed people. So, you know, once COVID hit, we were ready. And that's when I tell you about that voice. I said, you know, I was sitting in the house one day and I heard now. And I'm literally looking around like, did somebody hear that? But that was God telling me, you know, the patience that I asked you to exhibit, now it's time to move. And, you know, that's when the partners started coming, and I had an apparatus and you know, fortunate enough to be able to prepare the meals here at First Baptist Church. And we did that first week during spring break. We served close to 2,500 meals.
Wow.
And then after that, got support from Gwinnett County through County Solicitor General Brian Whiteside's office, and also some help from Commissioner Prosecute. And we campaigned Let 'Em Eat Gwinnett, and for 4 weeks we served 5 days a week at different locations throughout Gwinnett County, and we served close to 10,000 meals during that time, and we were just doing dinners. So, you know, we were designed before COVID-19. We have a mission and a plan to address food insecurity in our community. And we continue to do that now with, you know, 2 locations during the week now, and looking to expand, developing great partnerships with the co-ops in the local area with Lawrenceville Co-op, and now the Southeast Gwinnett Co-op, which was also birthed from First Baptist Church. So, you know, these great relationships are helping us with resources for food, resources for funding, and, you know, we're adding vehicles to the fleet. We have a van and a truck that we're working on getting on the road, because basically I look at it like this. I'm like the ice cream man. I want to pull up in the neighborhood and ring the bell, and I don't have ice cream, but I got a meal.
That's so nice.
And you can eat. You know, I always tell people, you know, people are hungry. Let them eat.
Let them eat.
They should be hungry in this country. So that's really what it's all about for us. You know, we survive on public contributions. I mean, you can reach us on. We have a website, www.lmit.org. www.lettemeat, that's LETTUMEAT, lettemeat.com. You can also give at /give today. And we also have a Facebook at Lettemeat, where we have a fundraiser on there also. So, I mean, it's a ton of different resources and things that we're able to get just partnering with the community. So, I mean, it's been a great venture so far. We're really proud of what we're doing and really grateful for all the support that we're getting in the community.
Wow. Tell them to spell Let Them Eat again, because I know there's two. I saw one that was spelled with one T, but spell it again so they'll know how to get to you directly.
It's LETTUMEAT.
All right, let them eat. So listen, I got one last question for you, and then I'm gonna say goodbye, I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Let me say that. But before I go, because I know you have, and I want to know how you balance it all, because I know you got a family of 5, and so I'm looking. So he has, listen, guys, he has 2 sons, and he has triplet daughters. I was like, I told my daughter, I said, hey, I'm about to interview somebody who has triplet daughters. She was like, oh, wow. My daughter has 1, and she is beating us all down. So how do you balance, a family with all of the things that you do at church, in the community, in business? How do you balance all of that?
Well, it comes with having a great wife that is a rock and a foundation. My wife, Rachel, is very supportive, but she definitely also keeps me grounded. So I think my new nickname for a while around the house was Let Them Eat everywhere except for here at the house. So I had to start bringing some meals home to make sure everybody was eating. But we have the same challenges every other family has. The girls, when they were babies, they were great, but they 18, about to be 19 years old now. So I keep my head shaved for a reason, because I'd be pulling it out or it'd be falling out. But great young ladies. I'm really proud of them. They're all getting educated, and they're just beautiful, just examples of what you go out and work hard for every day. It makes me proud to get up and do something great. I tell people with Let Me, I sleep good at night. My weekends are amazing, because now I'm not worried about what I did or didn't do during the week. I put in good work so I can enjoy my family on the weekend or enjoy myself on the weekend. So, the balance isn't easy, but having the support of your spouse is important, and just prayer. Just honestly, just praying for God's protection over my family when I'm not there, making sure I'm in the right space and doing the right things, thanking God for choosing me, for waking me up. That miracle of the wake up every day. It's a miracle. It's not to be taken for granted. But just praise and thanking Him for choosing me to do His work, to glorify Him, and to bring my family along with it, and to just think that, my legacy for them, I might not be able to give them land or money or all this kind of stuff, but, they're going to know their dad or their husband did something that mattered one day. And hopefully they'll take that on themselves, and they can feel just as good as I feel about doing it. They'll take these examples and they'll do the same thing. And not just my family, but anybody that's seeing and watching what I'm doing it because it's God's work. It's to glorify Him and His kingdom. And, that honestly, the balance is just being blessed with the patience and the time. When I think I'm running out of time, God gives me some more. So the balance comes truly from His grace and His blessing.
Amen. Thank God for great spouses. I tell my husband this, and I say this all the time. He probably like, I should kick her to the curb, but I am an entrepreneur at heart, and he has been a rock in a tough place, because he could have left me. I did date a guy early on who was like, girl, you need to get a job. and he left me. But my husband has stuck by me for 20 years. And we're celebrating our 17th year anniversary this weekend. And this is not easy, guys. Like, we may make it sound easy and we tell you some of the things, but on the flip side, it's not easy what we do. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. But if you're passionate about it and you find that person who loves you for who you are, you can do anything. And you got God right there too. Like, man, you can do anything because he has kept me and he has kept my husband and he has kept us together because I told you I dated a guy. He's like, girl, you better get a job. And I was like, listen, bro, this is who I am. If you can't deal with that, I'm out. So that was the end of that. But thank you so much for being my guest today. We would definitely do a sit down. I'm going to share this episode with everybody as I always do. But I'm definitely going to share it with my husband. I told him I was talking to you. And, food is his passion. He cooks all the time. Like, that's what he does. Like, when he comes home, he cooks. I on the other hand can cook, don't like to cook every now and then. They let me make something at Thanksgiving every now and then, but that's his passion just like it's yours. And I definitely want you guys to meet along with what could possibly be his business partner, and because I think it's some great synergy that could be there with what you guys do, what I do on the marketing and media side. I feel like there could be some great synergy there. So I'll be looking for a call from me probably sometimes next week. I'm going on a break. And like you said, you do good all week so you can enjoy the weekend. That's what I do. I work Monday through Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I can do whatever it is I want to do. Now, here's the problem, Chef. I'm kind of like a workaholic. So they told me, Audrey, you going away this weekend and leave the computer at home. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Not at all. It's not going to happen. Because it's not.
Try it, though. I know it ain't easy, and I probably couldn't do it either, but just imagine if once you get over the horror of not being connected, that you might really find something in yourself that you never knew was there that you would enjoy.
Well, you know what? Just because you said that, I ain't gonna take it. I was gonna take it though. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I had already said, let me pack up I got like 5 personally. I got 5 computers, my own. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pack up the one that's in the dining room and take it. I had already said it, but maybe I won't take it. Maybe I will just try to enjoy the time, which is gonna be hard. I ain't gonna lie. Enjoy the time. Because you know what's going to happen? My husband likes to go fishing. So he's going to go fishing. I'm going to be in the room like, okay, I should have my computer right now.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? One of these days I'm going to do the same thing, so I'm going to need you to give me the same advice. I know it ain't easy, but it's got to be something in disconnecting. Got to be.
Right on. Well, thank you again. We would definitely talk again. Thank you again for spending some time with me and sharing with the audience about what you do, your passion. You could feel your passion coming through the speakers here, and I know they felt it. Thanks for all the great information for those who are thinking about starting a restaurant. Listen, let me tell y'all something. If you're thinking about starting a restaurant, you need to reach out to Chef Hank. Is there an email they can reach out to you, or a phone number?
Yeah, they can reach me as Chef Hank. That's HANK at lettermeat.com. And our phone number is 678-509-5733.
All right, if y'all even thinking about starting a hot dog cart, a restaurant, a food truck, a milkshake company, whatever it is, you want to talk to Chef Hank because he's going to he's been generous enough to share just a little bit here, but I'm sure there's a ton more that he can share with you. So set up a consultation with him. You know what I mean? Listen, if you're talking about going in the restaurant business, set up a consultation. That means you got to pay him for the consultation. That doesn't mean it's free. You got to pay him. I mean, I know he's a giving guy, but if you're talking about going into the restaurant business, if you can't afford to pay him whatever his hourly rate is to sit and talk to you and make sure that you avoid some of the pitfalls, then you can't go into the restaurant business. I'm just saying. Can't do it. Can't do it. But anyway, again, thank you so much, Chef. I will be in contact soon. So listen, guys, I'm going to go to my last song. Then I'm going to come back and give you my inspiration for the day. And then I'm going to close it out so I can get ready to get on the highways and the byways and take some time off and try not to work this weekend. Thanks again, Chef. I'll talk to you soon. All right, guys, stay tuned. You're welcome.
Like snowflakes on my tongue, this time it's the rain.
back. So listen, guys, that's all I got for you today. But before I go, woo, that was a great interview. You know, I love when I talk to amazing people, and I look so forward to doing this more and more and more. I started out doing my show, Talk Business with Audrey, where I was talking to a lot of entrepreneurs, and I kind of stopped doing that just to do straight news for Good Morning Gwinnett. But I also realized there are a lot of great people who have great stories and great information to share with my listeners, not just here in Gwinnett, but around the world. But bringing people to Gwinnett who may not have ever heard of Gwinnett, and Gwinnett may not have ever heard of them, I think that's a great benefit to both people. So thank you to Chef Hank for just being a part of this great show. Listen, get out and vote. Get out and vote. All right, go out and vote. I met Chef Hank because I was talking to Commissioner Hopeful Derek J. Wilson, and he told me about him. He's like, you need to interview him, and I was like, okay, well, let's make this happen, and we did. And so I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to talk to him and hear his story and just get some wisdom and inspiration from what he was talking about. But anyway, I gotta go. But before I go, I want to give you my word of inspiration today, and it is this: you were meant to live beautiful dreams. You were meant to live beautiful dreams. Listen, if you have a dream in your heart, if you have a dream in your spirit, you were meant to live that dream. Follow your dream. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to worry about what people are going to say or what people are going to do, because they're going to say and do things anyway. Why not let them say and do things about what you love, right? Because they're going to do it anyway. I used to be worried about so many things about, well, what if they say this and what if they say that? Even when I started this show, I said earlier, I was kind of worried because in the podcasting world, there's a certain way that most podcasters do it. They do it a certain way. They use a certain microphone, a certain kind of speaker. They do it a certain amount of times a day. It was a blueprint that I didn't want to follow. So for me, I was like, I want to create a show that I want to love. I want to create a show that's going to make me want to get out the bed every morning and do it. And this is my show. It is my dream. It is my dream to own a media company. I talked about that before. That is my dream. My dream is to own a media company, just like Turner Broadcasting, right? Every time I drive down 85 and I see Turner Broadcasting, it makes me smile, because that was Ted Turner's dream, and that was because he wanted to see the Atlanta Braves play. You know, you may not have heard the story before, because he wanted to see the Atlanta Braves play wherever he went. He launched a TV network. Well, I want to see the kind of stuff I want to see on TV. I want to see entrepreneurs talking about their dreams. Yeah, I do. So hence, that's why I have Noise Media Network. That's why I have this podcast. And that's why you have your dream, to live your dream, beautiful dream. It's your dream. It's a beautiful dream. Don't worry about what people say. They're going to say stuff anyway. Don't worry about what they don't say. Don't worry about if they don't believe in you. Believe in yourself. And when you can't believe in yourself, find people like us. When I say us, I'm talking about other entrepreneurs who understand that journey that you're on, because they're going to help you believe in yourself, because they understand. People who have never done this, they don't really understand. If they're, and I'm not knocking a 9 to 5, but if all they do is get up and go to work every morning and they don't understand this, they're not going to understand. So don't expect them to understand your plight. Don't expect them to understand your pain, because they won't. They'll support you, some of them, but they're still not going to understand. And that's when you feel misunderstood. You're like, okay, nobody understands me. Find your group of entrepreneurs who will understand exactly what you're going through. They understand when the paycheck stop coming. We get it. You understand when you feel overwhelmed. We get it. You know, they understand when you say, okay, do I do Facebook marketing or do I do Instagram marketing? We get it. What the heck is Pinterest marketing? We get it. Should I have a LinkedIn profile? We get it. Should I go play basketball a day and dribble for 100 hours? That person that did that, they get it. So find your people, because you are meant to live a beautiful dream. That's all I got for today. Thank you so much for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you spent 1 hour and 17 minutes with me, and I appreciate you. Be sure to go back and listen to any episodes that you missed by going to goodmorninggwinnett.com and listen to the past episodes there. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter, GM Gwinnett, on Facebook, Good Morning Gwinnett, on Instagram at Good Morning Gwinnett, and also share the show with your friends. And if you like this episode, give it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. I need them 5 stars, y'all. Give it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It's a beautiful weekend this weekend. Stay safe. I'll be back again on Monday at 10 a.m., God willing, and thank you again for listening. But until next time, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in Monday through Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you missed an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you liked this episode, subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends. To learn more about Noise Media Network, visit www.noisemedia.us.